Hello and welcome to Muse in Tech. I'm your host, Delia, and I'm truly grateful you have joined us for today's episode. Here we turn ambition into momentum and real stories into reminders that anything is possible. Each episode, we sit down with amazing women who have stepped into tech and built careers and lives on their own terms. It's never about perfection, just the belief that everything is possible when you start and when you surround yourself with the right energy and the discipline to take small steps every day. I'm so happy to introduce you with today's guest, Rosa Cherneva, who is the founder of Simplicity Designs, the studio behind high converting websites for ambitious B2B brands across the UK and US. She is also creator of Founder Circle, an invite-only community where the top founders meet behind closed doors to share strategies, solve problems, and spark growth. Rosa, I'm so excited to have you here today with us, and welcome to Muse in Tech podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here. This is my first podcast, so bear with me. And I'm really excited to share my journey and add value to other women who are listening.
Thank you so much. Really, I was looking for this session, and I'm so grateful that you was so flexible and adapt to unexpected changes for my life, and I'm truly grateful for that. Let's move forward, and I would like to know what's any kind of fun fact or unexpected fact about you, what people usually don't know.
So one fact is that people that don't know about me is that I speak 4 languages. That is Turkish, Bulgarian, Spanish, and English. It's a great asset, and I connect with people from different cultures. And even in business, this is quite helpful because you get to connect with founders from different backgrounds. It was really helpful in my corporate job that I used to work for, as they had a particular clientele from Turkish backgrounds. And this is something that people don't know. People from Europe, in general, people speak like more than one language anyway. So it's English and then it's another language anyway. So yeah, that's one fact that
Do you think that, for example, if we would have our native language, English, we could speak in 4 languages?
No, I mean, the thing about languages is that it's quite difficult to navigate. I mean, all these 4 languages that I speak are all very, very different from each other. I mean, Spanish and English, I guess it's sort of, not far from each other, grammatically speaking. But
Turkish.
yeah, once you speak like more than 2 languages, the third one will be likely be a bit easier to learn. Yeah.
How did you learn Turkish language?
So my parents are Turkish, but I grew up in Bulgaria. So there's the mix of that. So back at home, we speak Turkish, but I went to school in Bulgaria and then I migrated to the UK when I was 9 years old. Yeah, Russian is a big, it's sort of the second most spoken language in Lithuania, isn't it?
It is, but I'm from different generations. It's not, I
Yeah.
can't catch up, with all that asset which the previous generation left to us. Anyway, I love that. And I believe that often the smallest thing, it's not the smallest, it is the big thing to have 4 languages in your background. I think it's truly helpful for you to make a business, to communicate with people, to join in the culture matter, because when you're visiting the country, you're always trying to say hello or even certain words in them not native language. And speaking about the beginnings, how did your career journey start?
So I studied law and I did my bachelor's in law and my postgrad, and then I worked in a law firm for a year. But that was in 2021, and back then legal technology was a big thing. It still is in this right now, but back then it was like the sort of the beginning of legal technology. And in my previous job, they asked me to research more on it, how they can adapt tech into the law firm because it was quite a traditional law firm. I mean, most things were done manually, so they wanted to automate some of their systems and processes. And one of the ways that I suggested that they can innovate their business is to sell legal templates online. They really like that idea. So that's how I got into technology. And from there, I learned about design, coding, just general legal tech space. That's how I started my career. Um, and yeah, since then I have, you know, ventured into different areas.
Okay, so this is quite another fact, probably, which people usually don't know about you.
Yes, and now what I used to do is very different than what I am doing now. But that's how I got used to it. The way that the law firm wanted to sell templates online is to create a different website so they can host the templates there, and then which was very different to their current traditional law firm website. So that was what I was doing most of my time there, along with my legal work.
It's impressive. Okay, how is it? I'm just curious, what made you want to have your own business then?
It came from the realization that I can't have the life that I want by doing a 9 to 5 job. I mean, you get a stable income, but then it's not much. You know, you are building someone else's dream, and it's not what I wanted to do. Plus, it was a very stressful job. I was always under pressure, and then I thought, okay, you know, there's got to be more to life because there's so many opportunities out there right now, and it's not hard to go out there and start a business. I mean, the entry is quite low. The bar of entry is quite low, and you can learn a skill and then launch a business within a matter of days. At the moment, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy or that you're going to get clients immediately, but I'm just saying the bar of entry to open a business is very low. And then, yeah, it came from the realization that I can't build, you know, a fulfilling life and the life I want from a 9 to 5 job.
Um, how is it? Or maybe if we just remember that stage, that moving or that shifting stage, when you drop your 9 to 5 to and move to the business, how you was doing that, or you was staying till you will find the clients for your business, or you just immediately drastically drop everything and now I will start my own. How it was?
So the way I did it is, and I would not recommend anyone to do it this way, okay? Because it's really risky and you will, you know, you will lose your runaway money and it's not. I mean, if you're good at selling, maybe not. But the way I did it is I told my previous employer that I'm going to go on a sabbatical. So I'm going to travel for a long time. And I quit the job and I went to Mexico and other countries to travel. So I was doing that for a couple months. And then when I was traveling, I took a course in user interface and user experience, so UI UX. So a course in design and tech. At the same time, I was teaching myself basic coding skills, which proved to be quite helpful later on. So that's how I did it. And then after I sort of learned the skill of designing websites, I decided to offer my services and open up my web design studio. It was really, really tough. The learning the skill bit is not really difficult part. The difficult part comes when you're trying to sell your service. So whatever you're selling, marketing, you know, just video content creation or web design or SEO, you know, learning that those skill is not the hard part. The hard part comes from selling and marketing. So getting new clients, which I should have done first before I actually went on to learning the skill of web design. So that has been a big, major lesson for me.
It is. Totally agree. And I feel you. I feel you. And again, it's not a recommended way to do things, but sometimes or usually we learn from our own lessons, probably.
Yeah. That was a big lesson. And I learned it very late. I got my first client through Instagram and I got it relatively quickly, like 1 month within like learning the skill. And then, you know, one of the person from my uni, it was like my friend for a couple of years. And they said, oh, I want to launch a new business. Can you help me create a pharmaceutical website? and stuff like that. So, and I got paid quite a good amount for that. So that I was quite lucky. But then you will be lucky and you will find clients. But then the hard bit comes from becoming consistent in client acquisition. So if you don't have process and systems from the very beginning, and if you are not willing to actually throw yourself in the deep end of going on sales calls, calling, reaching on LinkedIn, on Instagram DMs, if you're not willing to do that, because you might be shy, or you might be scared, you might be like, oh, you might be having the fear of, oh, I'm annoying. Another annoying service provider. Oh, I don't want to annoy them. But if you go with that mindset, you will not be successful in business. And that is the hard, raw truth. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if you're not so sold on your product or service yourself, then you will not be able to sell it to another person, because potential clients can sense they can sense your fear. They can sense that you're not confident in your product or service. And if they're not confident, then obviously they will not invest their time or money on you.
It is.
It
is. And I believe that big moves often come with mindset shift. So what is yours was the inner shift, the main one, which helped you to transform your maybe identity or grow up, your previous version of yourself?
What helped me shape my identity? I am big on learning, and it sounds really generic, but you are always learning, having that mindset of, I don't know everything. And on a daily basis, I need to train myself to learn skills that will help me move the needle. So if I need to contact 50 people or outreach 50 people on LinkedIn, and then you need to do it. And if you see, your message is not landing or your pitch is not landing, then see how you can adjust that by teaching yourself how to sell, how to, by reading books, by getting coach or a mentor in selling. So that was the sort of the identity that I'm seeing, that where you see that your approach is not working, do something else, or, adjust your approach. That has been really important in the, shifting my identity.
I think to be flexible and to react in certain situation or identify that something is not working is crucial for the business owner. Totally agree with that. Just moving forward, have you ever faced self-doubts or imposter syndrome?
I'm facing imposter syndrome on a daily basis. And I think other founders are as well, but they just don't want to admit it. Even the most confident person on camera will have it, imposter syndrome. But I've learned to put that into my own advantage. So if I fear of doing something, then it's a signal for me to do it, because it's something that you need to do. It's let's say, for example, when I started my business, I knew that I am new and people don't know about me. They don't know my service. So one way to get to a customer is to cold call them. And my first go at cold calling was, hey, and then prospect name. I run a web design agency, and I saw that you don't have a website on Google Maps. Would you be interested in us designing a website for you? And they just said straight no, sorry, we have it sorted out. And this is a terrible way to do cold calling opening. So, so that was one thing. That was one example of overcoming imposter syndrome, I guess.
It's cold calls. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's something that you get good at after you practice many, many times. I mean, I couldn't book a meeting for 2 months after calling 100 people. And cold calling has terrible conversion rates. I found that LinkedIn outreach is much, much better than cold calling. But cold calling can be really, really good if if you want direct outreach to that person and it gives you instant feedback on your messaging. Whereas with LinkedIn messaging or LinkedIn cold DMs, it's really easy to ignore someone.
It
can
is.
just send a message and the person ignores you. Whereas with cold calling, they can't ignore you. They have to sort of, I guess you can always ignore the call, but once they pick up, they can't ignore the call.
Yeah, they just got annoyed of us. So how you encourage yourself through that challenges when the self-doubts just saying, don't do that, or be good girl and don't annoy people.
So my approach is really to, I mean, as I said, if you're scared to do something, you have to do it. Like, if you're shy to be in front of the camera, you need to go in front of the camera and speak. Like, that's how people connect to other people. And actually calling people is actually one of the better ways to connect with someone because they can hear your voice. And rather than a message can come across as a little cold to another person. So my approach is to actually just, no matter how many rejections you get, look at, your approach. And if it doesn't work or it doesn't land, then try another way, try another cold calling script, or try to get better data from another data provider.
Yes, and sometimes, when people saying it's not working, usually I'm just curious, have you tried different in the different way? Have you tried with the different tools? Have you tried with the different script? It's like that many ways to try and then finalize that it's not working. But it's like, yeah, you need to be stubborn.
No, with everything, like with everything you do, you need to be stubborn. With,
And
I mean, like with this podcast, people that start out, most people do give up after a couple months when they see that it's not working. Whereas it's more of like trial and error thing. Like with everything else, you need to see what works and what doesn't after a certain time.
it is, and always maybe, for example, for my side, I always remind myself what is the main why I'm doing that. What is
Yes.
behind that.
Yes, as the famous Simon Sinek said, start with your why first. That will prevent you from giving up.
I know it's marketing trick to say, but it helps because that's why it's much more deeper than on the, I don't know, the on the Wall Street wall, the commercial ad saying dream big and find your why. But it's something, it's deeper. It's something authentic. It's something just resonating with you or with your family or something. Why you're doing that? What you
Mhm.
want to get and what you want to achieve in your life. And speaking about that kind of deep things, we all have difficult times, and when we are moving through the stages, and it's never ending, probably cycle. So, what helped you to keep moving through the difficult times?
What helped me move through difficult times? I think starting your day by moving, like movement helps me a lot, whether it's walking, running, cycling, just anything to get out of the house, away from everything, from the laptop, from work, from everyone, and take a walk, preferably somewhere with lots of greenery. That has helped me a lot to clear my mind, to start the day fresh, to make it just, ensures that you make better decisions throughout the day. So yeah, some form of exercise really helps me. It could
So
be,
you have quite a lot of energy to release, yeah, to start the day.
yeah. So no, actually movement will, like, starting your day with anything, like walking, going to, I don't know, to get a coffee from outside, like a short walk, 10-minute walk, will really, really change the way you work. It really does help.
Yeah, it's easy sometimes when you're working with the laptop. Sometimes it's easier to stay at home for a week and then suddenly just remember that it's like this week I didn't move.
No, yeah. It's quite harmful to just wake up and switch on the laptop because you have this brain fog and all these thoughts, your mind racing. So having that short walk allows you to free up your mind and start like fresh every day. Well, I
Yeah,
guess it helps me. So,
for coffee. So which coffee shop provider is your favorite one?
so I mainly use Costa. That's the closest one for me. We don't have Starbucks here, but Costa, and I have the points card for them. So
I remember I used to use that as well. I love that points, and it's on each and every corner.
It is, yeah. I would love to use an independent coffee shop, but then I just got used to Costa so much. It's just another coffee feels weird to me.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
Totally, house it. I can feel you because when I used to live in London, it's like Costa was the number one.
Yeah. They probably have more shops more than stuff.
Of course, of course. Just we can't see them.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe that it will resonate with our listeners, and sometimes, yes, not sometimes, every day. Even that I find one research that if we are doing any physical exercises, it makes our brains work better in the logical way. So keep listening, or just listen, Rosa, and move your legs from the laptop in the mornings, please.
Like I would strongly recommend for everyone to move like nearly every day. If you can't do it every day, every other day. And I was recently listening to a podcast with Alex Hermosi, and what he does, he has a trampoline in his office, and between calls he just jumps because it brings his heart rate up. So he's always like full of energy, and having that full of energy, it makes sales calls easier because your energy goes through, if people can sense that energy and they buy your energy. And if you are tired and if you sound like not in the mood or tired, it's like you are sort of boring the other person on the person on the other side of the phone. So having energy is really, really important in that case.
When you mention, it's like I just imagine it's like 100 millions, guys, just now, do it now. Like,
Yeah. It might be not like as exaggerative as that, but it's important to have that sort of, it's always important to have your heart pumping, because then you can talk faster, you have that energy, you are always alert, you are like, you have that focus and you are more productive. But if you just sit down on your laptop all day, it's like your productivity level will go down because your heartbeat is down, and it's really, really, really difficult to focus when you're just sitting in front of the laptop all day.
it is. For example, from my side, usually when you're sitting too long, it's not effective.
Yeah,
You're tired. You need the fresh air, or to see green parks or something, to see something far away, because it's nice for eyes and it's
yeah,
nice for brains. And then when you're coming back to your laptop, it just your brains is working in different way, more effective way.
definitely.
And if you have a chance to spread the word, what would you would say for the lady who just maybe starting tech position, or maybe they just want to enter the tech world or move to the higher position in tech?
Well, the number one advice I would give is to master a skill and then master the art of selling. And then you can go from there. And then if you can save money for a business, or you can make them more money for a business, then you will always have clients. I think that's the game. So master a skill, learn how to sell, and learn how to save money or make more money for other businesses or an individual.
It is.
So people should know you. You should be famous for one thing, no matter what thing it is. Like Neil Patel is famous for digital marketing. Alex Hormozy is famous for his sales techniques and his books. So and yeah, like try to master one thing and be known for that one thing that you're trying to do. Once you're successful in that one thing and you start making a lot of money, then you can start to bridge to other segments or, different areas. So I don't know, like being an author, like try and invest in other businesses. But for now, just, try to master like one skill and then learn how to sell. That would be my number one advice for women. Another thing that I would probably really be adamant on is for women to be a bit more bold, because the tech industry is still very much male dominated. And it's not that men are more capable than women. It's that men tend to have more audacity, even though they can be less competent than women, which they are more, I think, in my personal opinion, it's that they have more audacity to reach out to people. They have more audacity to charge more for their services or product than women are. Women tend to be, I think, more like safe and hang around more women, or like don't try to be like too bold or like, be more out there, as I would say, because from a young age, we've been taught to not do things. Don't touch that. Don't do that. Be like a girl, be more like a lady. Or yeah, we've always been told not to do stuff, so we grow up not doing things. Whereas I think that boys, they are told to go out and play and go out and try new things, and they grow up to do these things, and they are praised for it. Whereas for women, when you try to try out new things, or be a bit more bold, they are told to calm down.
Yeah, they just simply called us kind of from the B letter. This race or this competitive world, we have not enough time to show our power, I think so, because
Yeah.
we're not less capable.
No, I find that women can be more competent, more capable, more intelligent, more hardworking, more detail oriented, just better at most things. But it's that the fact that you don't have that self-belief or that mindset that, you can be whatever you want and you can do however you want, be able to fear judgment or failure. In fact, you should be failing more and faster.
Yeah.
It's not being able to have those traits or that mindset is really holding women back. And you have this hold positions in the lower end of a company. When I go to networking events, I mostly see like male, especially in my industry in web development. Most of my competitors are male, and yeah, I don't see many women that are willing to step up and be more innovative, try out new things, even if it means failing.
Totally agree. And I think we had just 100 year to show our capabilities. Even that they have 2000 years to create the not networking, but what we did in 100 years, I believe that will shape the future forever. Just give us more time. We still have a lot of troubles. We still not equal paid for the same work, but it's not for that long.
No, I definitely see a change. Things are changing for the better, but we're just still not there because changing societal values it's not an overnight thing. It does take a lot of time. And yeah, but I'm excited for the future and what women can bring to this world.
Daily and Rosa will shape the world.
Yeah, definitely. You're making an impact on women. Like you are providing them space to share their story, their journey, their lessons and failures. And that is a big thing. Like that is an important thing. You are spending all this time, energy, capital to spread their message and build a platform to empower women in tech. And this is quite important and it's something not to be underestimated.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate because I think sometimes ladies or the ladies who still didn't enter the tech, they can imagine that is just a male occupied field. But what we can learn is from the real stories which are usually behind the successful image. This is the thing. Why sometimes that real stories, real challenges, it's showing us that we are not alone. We're not, how to say it, every lady or every human being, it's not just the lady, every human being, as you mentioned before, they faced self-doubts, they faced imposter syndrome, but you can overcome that with the algorithm, for example, you suggested, or algorithm the another lady suggested. So this is, I hope a lot of listeners will hear our story and our podcast and will take step forward each day to implement them dreams. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Um, yeah, Thank you for having me. Again, I really, really appreciate it.
Okay, let's talk a bit different way. We just flip on the not according the script, but if you could speak with younger self, what you advice would you give for her?
Is to listen to my gut feeling, because and all my life I've been listening to other people and doing what they wanted me to do. Like my parents wanted me to be a lawyer, and I'm from an ethnic background. So being a doctor, lawyer, engineer, teacher is quite an important profession for them. It's a high status profession. Jumping into entrepreneurship has been a bit of a shocker for them because and it's not a well-respected profession for them. Like this is not something that I should be doing. I think if I listened to my gut and just jumped straight into my entrepreneurial pursuits rather than going to university, what would have been much better. Because even though uni and my work has really been beneficial to me, right now, I think uni is less and less important in society. It used to be like a necessity and mandatory. But at the moment, I'm seeing that it's less and less important. And well, if you want to be a doctor or lawyer, obviously go for it. But that's only if that's your long life dream, long-term dream, if you wanted to do it for the rest of your life. If you don't, then it's really a waste of time.
Yeah, from one side, I could agree with you, but I'm just thinking, can we say that because we finished the university?
What do you mean? In what sense?
It's like when you finish and when you're confident with your work. So I'm just thinking it's hard to say what would be if you would not finish the university.
I think that it's necessary for certain jobs like law and medicine. But for other courses like graphic design, photography, you can learn these outside uni and for much, much cheaper. Tuition here is like really, really expensive, and I'm still paying for my student loan. So if you're doing like law or medicine or one of these mandatory courses, then go for it. But if it's something like that you can teach yourself online or from YouTube or online courses, then go for it. Don't waste your money on university, because you can get skills from anywhere. And the best way to get skills is probably by practicing or being an apprentice somewhere else or doing work experience, volunteering elsewhere.
As you mentioned, just listen yourself from inside. You know what you want somewhere deep inside, but sometimes we just ignore that voice.
Yeah. Yeah, we ignore it because society tells us to do one thing, your parents tell you to do one thing. All these people, if you grow up in a certain environment, you will tend to do the same thing that these people around you are doing. It's like you're not gonna venture out to do something completely different because it's you're not taught. It's your environment that you grow up in. You start. Yeah.
So let's move to your business. How people can find you? What are you doing, and how you can save money for the other business, as you mentioned.
So I am mainly active on LinkedIn. That's where my ideal customer profile lives. But I do post sometimes on Instagram. So if you guys visit Rosa Cherneva on LinkedIn, you can find me there. Yeah, active on a daily basis.
Okay, the last question. I promise that I will not keep you any longer, but just we need to finish and finalize everything. And before we wrap up, I would love ending with some little personal, powerful questions. So, do you have any 3 books that change your mindset?
Yes, I have 3. One of them is behind me. It's The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. I love his podcasts, and I read his book often. It's about the 33 laws of business and life. He talks about his early life and some of the lessons that he learned, and some of the very, very valuable lessons that other people can take note of. And then the other one is by Grant Cardone. It's called Be Obsessed or Be Average. It talks about how you need to be absolutely obsessed by whatever you're doing. So if you have like a business, don't treat it like a side hobby or a side hustle. Like you need to go all in for it to actually work out. That's that. And then another one of his books is called 10x rule, which is if you have 10x, like if you have the bigger the goal, the more urgency you have, the more speed, urgency, and action you'll have. It's say if you want to make 10K a month, make that, like if you have that goal, that big of a goal, you will work harder, you'll try to do more sales, more marketing. Whereas if you have more realistic goals, then the effort, it's not going to be there. So that he talks about this, and it's not just about business, but more about other areas of your life. So let's say if you want to buy a house and you just only want a 1-bedroom house, have it, just aim for like a 4 or 5 bedroom house. That way you will subconsciously start to take actions to grow your business even more, because you have this goal of having a big house or other material things or a nice car. And yeah, so the main takeaway of that book is to not have average or realistic goals, if that makes sense.
Just dream 10x more,
Yeah.
and then you will get as minimum as your realistic thought, or even usually much more, because just bet for more, not for less. For standards, it's much more higher than we thinking sometimes. It was truly wonderful to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's been really fun sharing my story and talking to you. Yeah, I hope we stay in touch, and let's see how I hope this podcast grows. You get more women in, inspire more women, and yeah.
I hope so. One day we will can have coffee in real life at the Costa table.
For this, no, I would really love to have you here. So
And for rest of us, if this episode spoke to you, don't forget like, share, or send it to a friend who might need some inspiration today. Follow Muse in Tech for more real stories, practical tools, and encouragement on your tech journey. Keep believing, keep building, even in the small steps, and keep shining your light. Until the next time, my beautiful souls, bye.
bye bye.